Hello, honorable members of the clan. So, welcome to today's video. Anyways, guys, I want to make a disclaimer. These are allegations. There's nothing true about this until it is proven, or all of what I'm going to say is proven. But I want to talk about George Baloyi, Advocate George Baloyi. There are so many things that are coming out about George Baloyi that I'm like, okay, why hasn't he recused himself from this case if he has an interest? Or conflict of interest for that matter, because apparently, I don't know how true this is, he is related to the Twalas. Now, if I understand very well how the law fraternity works, including the judiciary, that if you are going to be a presiding judge and a relative of yours is going to be before you and you're presiding over the trial, you ought to recuse yourself because that is not going to be a fair trial or anything that has to do with the law, and you are a presiding officer or even a prosecutor. You are not going to do the job to the best of your ability without fear, favor, and all of that stuff that is mentioned in the law. So now, if George Baloyi is related to, let's say, Longwe Twala, because apparently the Chicco Twala as well as George Baloyi, they are cousins from what I am understanding. I don't know how true all of this is, but when you look at the second part of my concern is that you had Brigadier Genda, who is investigating or is the investigating officer of 636, case 636. And then you have, is it Colonel Mako, who also was part of the investigation team. Remember, from what I understood, there were about 40 investigators in this matter, and then they were reduced down to about four. I think the four being Genda and Mako being those people that Bekitele, the then Minister of Police, had put together. Then was Umamfundisi, and then I think the late Mabena, making them four investigators in the Senzo Meyiwa, what do you call this, deletion. Now, if you look now at the information that Colonel Mako is coming with, which also includes case 375, and both these dockets were presented to George Baloyi, the MPA as a whole, and of course, the NDPP is going to allocate a prosecutor for this matter. Now, I don't know how the NDPP also felt that, yes, let's prosecute 636, because I do understand that the NDPP makes the final decision on whether they're going to prosecute or they are not going to prosecute on the basis of whether they've got a prospect of winning the case. So the question is, there are two dockets before you. One is 636, the other one is 375, and then you are looking into the evidence, and then you choose that, okay, let's go with 636 because it does not implicate important people. Because from what I understand from 375 is that it implicates a lot of prominent people that ought to be arrested. Some of them should have recused themselves, like Advocate Baloyi as a prosecutor in this matter. Not only because apparently there are some legal discrepancies that he has committed, but because he's also a relative to the persons in question, particularly Longwe Twala. Now, it makes some kind of sense to me that if I am a prosecutor in this matter and I see one of my cousins or my cousin's children or child is an accused, and then there's another, oh, thank goodness something else came up, I will go with, oh, thank goodness something else came up, and go with, so that I do not, number one, get my cousin's brother, or my cousin's child, to be prosecuted, possibly even convicted for a crime that possibly they could have committed, like the Senzo deletion type of situation. So now the question is, why didn't he also incorporate 375 together with 636, and then have everybody that is implicated in the Senzo Meyiwa deletion together in the dock, from accused number 1 to about accused number 11 or 12? meaning that everybody that were in the house with Senzo Meyiwa on the 26th of October 2014 as accused people, and then it is their job to prove beyond okay, well, it's going to be the state that's going to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that they are indeed guilty. But the question is, why did he ignore 375? From what I understand, allegedly, is that Genda, whom he is accused by Colonel Makubo of stealing a docket, a very damning docket towards Longwe Twala. And since that has happened, or maybe, this is my suspicion now, maybe Genda did come in good faith and then presented the docket, both 636 as well as 375, right? And then Mr. Baloyi saw that, wait a minute, but my cousin's child is involved here. We'll take this one and put it aside. But we also need to save you too, Mr. Genda, because I'm also implicated if I'm going to instruct you to do the following. Take this statement, tear it, shred it, lose it, do whatever that you need to do, and I will defend you. Do not worry about that. And then Mr. Makubo comes in and is like, no, wait a minute. This is incomplete information that is supposed to be in 636, but is in 375. Now I'm like, okay, let's look at some few things that has happened. The next door neighbor, what is Mr. I forgot his name, the surname, passed away in the most strange way, apparently. The two boys that were outside at the substation, or the box outside the Kumalo house, also died in some mysterious ways. You know, when one person dies in a mysterious way, you're like, oh, okay, that happens. But when two more die in a strange way, you're like, wait a minute. But the one that really got me, and all these allegations, guys, the one that got me, apparently when Longwe Twala allegedly shot himself in the ankle, he was taken to a clinic. And guess who is no longer on earth today? The doctor is still there, but on the run, is in hiding, apparently, allegedly. But the receptionist that took all the details and all of that stuff is no more. Because, of course, when you are going to take a patient to a doctor, the front office person sees everybody that is there. And so I think she was going to be lined up by Makubo and everybody else to be the witness for the defense. So she needed to go. So when the doctor realized that, oh my goodness, my PA is no longer here, died mysteriously, then he or she also needed to go in hiding, allegedly. So in as much as I think the defense knows where the doctor is and everyone else that may be involved in the medical part of Longwe, allegedly, who has allegedly shot himself while he was at the Kumalo house and shot Senzo Meyiwa, allegedly. So they're all in hiding. I think that either they're under protection witness thingy program, or they just decided, I'm leaving the country, call me when you need me on the stand, and I'll be there to tell the story. All right? And then apparently there's also a pseudonym that was used at the doctor's register. But who knows the truth? It is the late receptionist for the doctor, allegedly. Now, then you look at Mr. Ndlovu, was it Ndlovu, who also mysteriously passed away. He was invited by a journalist, or at least he was invited to a braai. He goes to the braai, comes back home, he's gone. Not only is he gone, later on, because whoever is behind all of this, there is no way that is it Captain Ndlovu, who passed away, would not have told his wife what exactly is going on, and if anything had to happen to him, she must know that these are the people that are responsible. How they found out that this is what he may have done, or maybe they just thought, oh, even if it's me as well, I'll tell my wife, if something happens to me, suspect so and so. And what happened to the wife? Got shot while doing shopping with her daughter. Now, there's too many people going mysteriously, dying through guns, poisoning, and strange ways of passing on. If this was a legitimate case that these 5 people that stand accused of deleting Senzo Meyiwa are anything to go by, then why so many people are gone? All in all, if you count, there are 8. There should be 9 with Colonel Mako. You remember they tried to smear some false cases against him because he wrote the truth in the 375 case. So all of these things leads to one person thinking, or one tempted to think, that yeah, the prosecution or the prosecutor, who is George Baloyi, probably pulling the strings as to I'm going to do everything that I can to protect family, because that's what you are going to do, especially if you are holding such power as being a prosecutor. You are definitely going, if any of your family member is an accused and you are the chief prosecutor, of course you're going to work your level best to make sure that these people or your relative is protected from prosecution and conviction if found guilty. Again, guys, these are allegations. I don't know how true all of these things are, but I am just hearing things, and I'm like, that sounds wow. That sounds wow to me. I don't know about you, but I'm wowed by all of these revelations. And are they ever going to see justice someday? I don't know. Especially if there's no evidence, then I don't think that justice will ever be served, if ever these are true, but there's no evidence. But if they are untrue, then I don't know then what ought to happen, because you know how people can be as well. You never know who is telling the truth and who is also not telling the truth. But when you are looking at what is going on and zoom in, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. It leaves one tempted to think it is true, even though these are allegations. I'm not saying it is true, but it sounds, or it's beginning to look like. But then, come on, why this person and this person and this person? But for me, Mako makes my suspicion to be solidified. Why? Because he was charged he was smeared with crimes he did not commit. Why? Why would you want to shut him up? Because you want him outside of the uniform. And when he's outside of the uniform and in jail, just like Advocate Tefu, then he becomes discredited. Anything that he says will be questionable, whether he's telling the truth or not. So they planned this very meticulously, if they did, and it's quite saddening that we live in a country that we call a constitutional democracy, but we also have mafias that are in key positions of our judiciary and criminal justice system. Scary, 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 scary stuff. Anyways, guys, I thought let me come and make my piece on these allegations that I keep hearing. I don't know how true they are. That is why I'm saying these are allegations until they are proven. Other than that, please let me know in the comment section, what are your thoughts about these suspicions, conspiracy theories, and allegations. Other than that, do not leave this video without liking, without sharing, and commenting. And please, guys, do me a big favor, watch the ads. Please watch the ads. We are at 12% of people watching ads. I beg of you. Anyways, let's see each other in my next video. Goodbye.